If your child snores, struggles with focus, or never seems fully rested, what I'm about to show you might finally explain why nothing else has worked. Mouth breathing isn't just a habit. It's not normal. It's your child's body adapting to a problem that nobody's addressed yet. When a child breathes through their nose the way that they're designed to, the nose filters air, regulates oxygen and carbon dioxide balance, and produces nitric oxide, which improves oxygen delivery to the brain. Nasal breathing also supports proper tongue posture, which literally shapes how the face and jaw develop. But when a child can't breathe through their nose efficiently, the body adapts. It finds the easiest available airway, the mouth. So mouth breathing isn't the problem, it's the solution. The real question is, why is your child's body choosing that solution? Mouth breathing is almost always a compensatory pattern. Something is blocking that nasal airway. It can be structural, a narrow upper jaw, a high narrow palate, or cranial distortions from birth trauma. It could be neurological, upper cervical restrictions influencing airway tone, or dural tension affecting a cranial base function, or it could be environmental, enlarged tonsils, adenoids, or chronic allergies. In many children, these patterns start at birth, and when mouth breathing happens during critical development years, it affects everything. Craniofacial growth, kids who mouth breathe often develop a narrow palate, long narrow faces, and dental crowning. The structure of their face is shaped by how they breathe. How about sleep and behavior? Restless sleep, snoring, daytime irritability, attention challenges, and nervous system regulation. Chronic airway stress affects your child's ability to regulate emotion, energy, and focus. When parents tell me their child has ADHD, sensory issues, or anxiety, the first thing I look to is the airway. Because if the brain isn't getting efficient oxygen delivery, if the nervous system is under constant stress from an obstructed airway, everything else becomes harder. Focus becomes harder, learning becomes harder, emotional regulation becomes harder. Your child isn't broken. The brain is doing what it's designed to do, trying to function despite a compensating breathing pattern. In adults, chronic mouth breathing contributes to poor sleep, snoring, sleep apnea, fatigue, and decreased performance. And most of those patterns started in childhood. Chronic mouth breathing at rest or during sleep is a red flag. Your child's body is telling you something that needs to be addressed. So what do we do? The goal is not to just tell your child to close their mouth and breathe through their nose. That's like telling someone with a broken leg to just walk normal. The goal is to identify and correct the underlying pattern. We evaluate cranial structure. Is there distortion from birth? Are the cranial bones moving properly? Then we assess the cervical spine, especially where the skull meets the spine. Restrictions here directly influence airway tone. We also check for dural tension, the protective covering around the brain and spinal cord. We observe tongue posture, oral function, jaw function, and breathing patterns. All these pieces tell us where the nervous system interference is and what needs to be addressed. Chiropractic care for airway functions focuses on restoring balance, cranial adjusting to restore proper bone movement, cervical spine adjustments to improve nerve flow and airway tone, balancing dural tension, supporting cerebral spinal fluid flow. When we restore proper structure and remove nervous system interference, the body can shift back to nasal breathing naturally. We also give parents things to do at home. Encourage nasal breathing throughout the day, promote proper tongue posture, support tummy time in infants, and when needed, collaborate with ENTs, allergists, myofunctional therapists. Because this isn't about chiropractic being the only answer. It's about addressing the root cause so everything else works better. Mouth breathing is common, but common doesn't mean normal. When we recognize it early and address the underlying structural and nervous system patterns, we can support real change. It's not about forcing your child to breathe differently. It's about helping their body return to balance where nasal breathing becomes the natural option again. Your child struggles with sleep, focus, behavior, emotional regulation might all be connected to something as fundamental as how they breathe. If your child is a mouth breather, if they snore, if they struggle with any of these patterns, book a complimentary consultation at choosecenter.com or call us at 443-333-9876. We'll assess your child's cranial structure, cervical spine, and airway function and show you exactly what's happening and how we can help. Because every child deserves a nervous system that works the way that it was designed to. Drop a comment if this connected some dots for you. And share this with another parent who's been told that their child's struggles are just behavioral or just a phase. Because sometimes it's just as simple and as profound as how they breathe.